Hello, Peter checking in again. Another big question. Ancient Egypt to now. What has changed? What has changed from ancient Egypt to now? I mean, I'm not an expert on ancient Egypt by any stretch of the imagination, but I do watch people who are, and I'm very keen on the subject because it's fascinating that it appears you've got two civilizations there, the first Egyptian civilization and the second Egyptian civilization. The first Egyptian civilization are all the monuments and the buildings that are standing today. The one that copied the first civilization, all their buildings and monuments are crumbling. So it was a copy. So you look at the first lot of buildings and monuments they built, like the Great Pyramids and all the pyramids. Well, actually there's so many pyramids on, not really the ley lines, it's the energetic lines of the world. They're all on really important energetic places. So there's a key there. There's something deeper than our actual understanding of today's world going on back then than there is now, here, today. They're all built on the golden ratio and the Fibonacci sequence, which is the natural sequence of the building blocks of life. So they knew that. They knew that back then. They built it all, it's perfect. It's a bit like when you look at the Greek, the classical Greek buildings and architecture, that's again all built up on the Fibonacci sequence and the golden mean. So it's architecture that's built to last, and it will stay there because it's built on a natural blueprint, whereas the Romans was a cheap copy of it, which is why it's all collapsing. And hopefully the Holy Roman Empire is starting to do that too, which I think it is. We're coming to an end of this financial cycle, so it's all going to change, which is brilliant. But my point is, where did the change in the ancient civilizations of Egypt happen? Where did it happen in their times? Well, Akhenaten is a really good example, who was actually the father of Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun, lovely word. And he wanted his people of the ancient his people to really get the feeling of there's just like a monotheistic God, like one God, and it's you. It's your connection with that actual feeling inside of you is important, the most important journey for you to do. So he would provide a society where you could actually internally look inside of yourself and come out, and then realize, yeah, actually I get what I'm doing here, I get what I'm supposed to be doing, and so you're empowered as a human being. But the priest class, the high priest class at that time, didn't want that at all. So they said he was a lunatic and a nutcase, and they slowly ebbed out all of that feeling as they took control of the Pharaohs. And then you have what you have today, which is a control system, and that ducks and dives around. It's like a flowing motion of how you control a population. And we have it today. The high priest class of today, the climate religion. Now we've got the COVID religion. We've got all these things that are coming at us that are really attacking us and saying, no, you can't do this. You're just a human being, you know nothing. And I've said this often, and I'll keep saying it until people respond to it properly. When I was sitting there watching a doctor or a scientist, or I don't know who he was, he had a white coat on, he had a white stick and a green board. Remember, it was a green board with chalk because we used black boards at school, but he had a green board, and he's pointing the trajectory of the bullet that killed JFK back there on that fateful day in Dallas, when many things really changed after that. But he was showing the trajectory of the bullet, that it went around the car and then took the side of his head off, so it's come from the back and took that side of his head off, so it come over his shoulder and then this side. The magic bullet. And I'm looking at that and seeing my brothers and going, what are they talking about? What is this guy talking about? I mean, I didn't know anything about bullets, physics or anything like that, but to me I'm going, this is a complete load of rubbish. And yet I had people in the room just taking it in, not saying anything. Here it is, this is how it is, this is how it works. And we're getting much the same now. And I was told the other day, I haven't researched this myself, but I was told the other day by a very reliable source But the death rates in the UK are 20,000 down this year. 20,000 down. We're living in the middle of a pandemic, but we're 20,000 down this year. To me, that makes me think, who's in control of this information, and why are we getting this information bombarded at us, telling us that we're actually in this position? It's the high priest class. It seems to me that they haven't gone away. It's just adapted into a different position, and they're not only jumping on opportunities to put us more into this position, they're actually starting to create them, as far as I'm concerned. And that's where my practice of meditation and mindfulness actually brings me to, which is to empower you as a human being. I care about you. I care about how you see this world, and I care about how you are being damaged by the carelessness of the people at the top of this world. I really do care about you, believe me. A lot of people can say that, oh, I don't care about these people, what's the matter with them? Yeah, I do. I've got empathy, compassion. It's slowly pulling away from people who just don't want to listen. Oh, I won't speak to them anymore. That's okay. If you don't want to speak to me, fine, just leave me alone. If you want to attack me on the internet, I'll just send love back to you. That's no problem whatsoever with that. I'll do that till the cows come home. Please take more love from me, even though you think whatever you think. I don't care. You used to get really vicious attacks, going, you're an idiot. Just send back love. That's all I do now. But there's something to this. So what has changed from ancient Egyptian civilization to now? And what's really interesting is Freddie Silver's research, which is completely out there. Completely out there. Brilliant. Brilliant research. And he's really open to change as well. He came up with the shining ones. Shining ones, some of the translations are called the watchers. And if you are Christian, you should know who the watchers are, because it's in the Bible. So you should know the watchers are the watching over humanity. But these watchers were the ones before the watchers in the Bible, and they were called the shining ones. And they came after the great deluge or the great flood, and they helped all the different human beings across the planet, all the different areas of survival, create what we have today. So they created the great temples and these great architectural buildings that we can still see today on this world, and while other ones who were built in a later period have all collapsed. And they gave this knowledge, which is more important. They gave this knowledge of being the best version of yourself as you possibly can be. The best version of yourself. So surely that's really empowering knowledge. So I can be better than what I am now. And yeah, I know I can. And I know everybody can. Everybody's got room for improvement. So why aren't we striving for that? Well, there are many people who are. And there are many people who are opening up their minds to this knowledge. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I teach Qigong. That's why I teach meditation and mindfulness, so that people can come to their own conclusions. They don't have to listen to me talking on the YouTube channel. They can make their own conclusions about what they feel about certain things, rather than being fed with so much propaganda, so much garbage, boom, 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 pounding into you that you can't see around that. So that's why I do what I do. And that's why I get up in the mornings to try and help people. Who else can I help today? I really do feel that. And it's just think about that and maybe do some research on that. The Pyramid Code is a great documentary as well. But Freddie Silver's done some great work on crop circles. No way, a guy with a board can make those. You go and have a look. A real good close look at that. And he's done some great work on these ancient people called the Shining Ones or the Watchers. Wonderful stuff. Really wonderful stuff. Anyway, please think about that whole ancient civilization of Egypt coming into the modern civilization of Egypt, which collapsed, and now we've got this whole thing going around and around and around again in cycles, and we do see cycles in life. Have a think about it, see what you think. Let me know in the comments anyway, and I'll see you in the next video. Sarang Hamida.